Today's piece is called The Future of Oligarchy. And so I don't know if you saw it it's on the Drudge Report. It's on social media too. It's a picture of the White House. So trying to tie this all together for you as usual. Just like her talking about, I went back to Ohio and my city, it was gone. Well, this is your White House, people. Your White House is gone. Now, this is going to be an MMA ring, and I think it's going to be the stage for the July 4th thing. The lead singer for Poison just dropped out. Now, I know everybody thinks that Trump's doing this because this is Trump's style and he's sort of cheesy and he's covering everything in like guilt and gold and shit and ruining the White House and rebuilding all this stuff. I mean, that's one way to look at it, that this is all Trump. What they're doing, people, is they're destroying your culture. Remember, these are Bolsheviks. What do you mean Bolsheviks? It's cultural Marxism. No. Trump's on the right. You don't get it, dude. There is no right and left. They're destroying the White House. Just like they destroyed General Electric, just like they destroyed Ohio, just like they destroyed the 250-acre mall that I showed you a couple months ago that was $212 million, sold for $7 million. They're destroying everything. It's not the communists that did. It's not Noam Chomsky. It's not the black nationalists. It's not the lesbian, green-haired people from Oregon. It's the fucking white people that did this. Never forget that. It's the rednecks. It's the conservatives. It's the American conservative movement. Look at this fucking thing. When you blow it up, what they're building here is some sort of like bunker for the new beast system. And of course, the rest of it looks like shit too. There's the White House. It used to look like this. In other words, they're taking away, we're not really a religious culture. Like, our people think that the founding fathers were religious and they weren't. That's just an error of history. But if you study the French Revolution, if you study the Russian Revolution, the first thing they do is they wipe out everything that you hold sacred. The king, the palace, the churches, the nuns, the priests, the monks, etc. So you may have heard me explain for some time that the Fourth Turning, if you're not familiar with that, that's probably the book that like wins the, proto-history, like prophetic. And the implication of the Fourth Turning is that around 2026, they actually named the date, 2025, 2026, the United States will wake up into a existential crisis that's like 1776, 1860, 1929, 1932, 1940, Pearl Harbor, like all at the same time. Let's just run through it. 1776, you saw the King of England speak in front of Congress like it's his fucking Congress, like we're part of the Commonwealth, because we are. Then 1860, right? The people that destroyed the White House have always wanted to destroy the White House. What I missed, 1929, the stock market is the most speculative ever. It's forget like valuations and PE models and stuff like that. People are chasing triple leveraged ETFs on semiconductor stocks. Hold on. People are buying calls, like the most wacko, like one-way bets you can possibly make. Stock market is the most speculative it's ever been. Does that mean it's going to go down? Not necessarily. What it means is they'll do more and more and more and more and more to inflate it, such as having multiple trillion-dollar IPOs that 30 years ago would never have been allowed to IPO. No fucking way. No way would they let OpenAI go public. 6% at an over $1 trillion market cap, 100 times revenue. I mean, they're doing to the stock market what they're doing to the White House. Follow me? They're just destroying everything that you believe in. Capital markets, the White House, the 4th of July, everything. So if you want to be a dumbass, you can think that this is all done by Joe Biden and Donald Trump. I would suggest that there's not two 80-year-old assholes that run the world. This is being done by the oligarchy. The oligarchy has its own agenda. And as George Carlin said, you ain't in it. You ain't in it. So, in other words, people are sort of confused. Like, well, why did Trump do this thing in Iran? And price of diesel fuel's at $6. And if Trump's like a nationalist, like a conventional national economy kind of a thing, why would he do these things that are so destructive, to include like turn the White House into like a MMA ring? Or not an MMA, WWE ring. Remember, Trump was in the WWE. Remember that? He like tackled the what's the guy's name? The Irish guy that ran WWE. The oligarchy is here to wipe out everything through inflation, through debt, through OnlyFans, through bringing Kid Rock and MMA to Rose Garden. It's all the same thing. It's not left-right. It's not left-right. So the future of oligarchy. So back to I like to reference books. You can watch some of the two authors that did The Fourth Turning. One of them I just saw a month or two ago. He says, inflation isn't the problem, people. Inflation is the solution. They're going to inflate everything away, and then they're going to put us on this new system where everything is on the digital ledgers. We've been talking about it as though it's crypto, and I'm the guy who keeps coming on and saying it's not about coins, it's new ledgers. And just think of like some sort of bankruptcy, or if you know a friend that went through foreclosure or a divorce, or you have this set of books that you go into the court with and you leave with this set of books. You know what I mean? Like if you know somebody's gone through a divorce, or you have, like they do this thing and you have like, here's all your marital assets, and the court looks at it and the judge looks at it and everything. And like, okay, here's what you're going to leave with. So you come in with this set of books and you leave with this set of books. That's what they're doing. It's not hard. And part of that was to blow up the Persian Gulf so that we're going to export oil and gas. It's not that hard to understand. Now, they're going to want you to absorb all the trash over here. It's like $1 trillion in private equity that can't get sold. There's like $1 trillion in real estate that can't get sold. There's $1 trillion in banks. Yeah, that's about right. There's $1 trillion in banks that are upside down. So again, what I'm trying to get at is they're trying to paralyze you with like this, because you're going to go watch MSNBC tonight and they're going to, oh my God, I can't believe they did this. Donald Trump, this is how they've reacted to Donald Trump since 2015, right? So they're going to run like, I don't know, Governor Jazz Hands or something, and they're going to lose on purpose, because the purpose of the oligarchy is to destroy everything that you hold near and dear. To include Christianity, all the absurd texts that come out of Trump, and the things uses the F word on Easter. Tucker Carlson discovered that. So what we're going to do between now and July 4th is sort of convert from this, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening, to what are you going to do about it? Like literally in your own life, what are you going to do about it? Like $6 diesel fuel might be the new norm. $100 oil might be the new norm. Much higher electricity prices might be the new norm. They don't care. They want you out of your house. They want your kid to have an $800 student loan payment because now they can control them. Mexico has universal health care. Mexico has universal health care and the United States doesn't. Why is that? They don't want you to have access to health care so that you have to work for the oligarchy. You have to worry about where your benefits are going to come from. They don't want you to go start your own business. They don't want you to be debt free. They don't want you to be self sufficient. They don't want you to operate on self reliance. They want you to live in this Kid Rock bullshit world, whether you're either for Kid Rock or you're against Kid Rock. Either way, you're not doing anything constructive. So now between now and so we're going to Austin to meet the attorney in person. That's the 18th. The invitation to partners is going to close on the 18th. Okay. So there's a whole bunch of people with a whole bunch of emails exchanged. And somebody asked me today, can they get their money back if it doesn't go as planned? I don't know. Is that what partners do? Do we just send you your money back? Americans are almost to the point where they're incapable of doing things themselves. And that's on purpose. Everything, student loans, Kid Rock, using the F word on Easter, it's all to paralyze you. So you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with myself. I would suggest if you've ever played a sport or wrestled or done, I don't know, read a lot of military history or something, the purpose of all these things is to disorient you. So you don't feel grounded. You don't feel comfortable doing business with other people, having relationships with other people. They don't want Gen Z to be married and own a home by age 30 and have a husband that pays the bills and maybe mom stays home. Fuck. No. Everything the oligarchy does is against you. Everything. All the white male Christians are in on this, right? They all did this. The Christians did this. Now, I think July 4th is going to be a spectacular disaster. And Americans are really going to wake up to the idea that Washington has fallen. And AOC isn't going to put it back together again. So they don't want you to own resources. They want you to own their bullshit 6% of $1 trillion company that's 100 times revenue. That's what they want you to invest in, right? They created the opportunity zone so that they could put their money in tax-free. But you don't even know what an opportunity zone is because it's made for the oligarchy. The oligarchs put the opportunity zones in place for the oligarchs, not for you. Not to fix up downtown LA or something like that. So between now and June 18th, and then the big day I think should be July 4th, we're going to really change the format here. Instead of just never-ending content about the oligarchy, it's going to become more about what to do about it. It's going to be more about people who want to do things together. It's going to be more about using technology and finance and blockchain and so forth for people who get the joke that you have to go start over. The whole point of the fourth turning is everything that's happening right now is destructive. Everything is being torn down, like the White House, like the Rose Garden. Everything's being torn down. And you're going to have to, whether you're my age or 65 or 85 or 25, you're going to have to get on with your life and what are we going to do about it? AI is both It's sort of like that thing from inflation. Inflation isn't the problem. Inflation is the solution. Inflation, if you remember some Russian minister said, America's just going to default in, I think he called it the crypto soup. It's a pretty good one-liner. Everything's going to just move into this new digital ledger system everywhere you look, and it's going to be run by AI. And Bruno is doing the same thing. It's, you're going to have some big decisions to make. Here's the kind of decisions that people reach out to me with. Should I take like 10 or 20% of my 401k and like buy a cabin in Vermont? And I'm like, well, do you want the cabin in Vermont? And they're like, yeah. Here's the important part. What does the oligarchy really run on? The oligarchy runs on debt. The oligarchy is about banking and credit and leverage and debt, and they control it and you don't. So as prep for this today, I was thinking like, so we had a similar situation in 1860 where it wasn't so much finance, right? Slavery's not, in a way, slavery's a kind of finance, but that's not how to think about it. Slavery is really like a political, it's like a certain segment of the economy, black people, that we're always at war with them because there's always a fear of a slave rebellion. Okay. So we don't have that kind of thing anymore. What we have is we have not chattel slavery. We have debt. We have debt that can never be paid. We have debt that was made to run up asset prices for people over the age of 65, over the age of 60, let's say, to run up asset prices, just make the stock market go up higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. Like every president that gets elected, it's just to make the stock market go up and make the baby boomers feel good about themselves. Make the oligarchy feel good about itself. I'd say it this way, like, make the top 10% of the population who has all the money to unload on campaigns, like the $27 million that was just spent in Tennessee. Catherine Austin Fitts says it really well. She says, like, they create capital gains, they take a chunk of the capital gains out, unload it on Washington, D.C., rinse and repeat. And in probably not till the baby boomers lose their demographic control, and it'll really go through my generation to millennials, where the real crisis will be that the millennial and Gen Z will realize they can't pay the bills on the municipal bonds, on the corporate bonds, on the stock market, on the treasuries, on everything. Hamburger will probably be $19.99 a pound. Right? Like, minimum wage, or what is it, $7.50 or something? That's not some sort of error of politics. It's not like the mean, rascally Republicans controlled by the Koch brothers like did this. And it's not like, on the other side, it's not like George Soros did this. This is the plan, people. The plan is to make $25 hamburger and minimum wage like $8.10. It's 1860 again, people. And there's not a single fucking white male in North America who has anything to say about it. Barely. Like, even like, what's the guy's name in Texas, Tallarico and so forth, they're trying to like get a hold of this thing and move it in a different direction. But I don't think that that's going to work. I think there's going to be a kind of crisis, like, it's not people in wool uniforms in the Shenandoah Valley with 50 caliber mini balls chasing each other around. I think it's in AI. I think it's in the tech. Mhm. Follow me? But anyways, so if like 1860 was like this political crisis that nobody could solve politically, so there was a parting of ways, and there was the Confederacy. I think it was it 9 states that seceded, and their first order of business was to do what? Attack Washington D.C. Where do you think General Lee was trying to go? He wasn't trying to go to New York. He wasn't trying to go to Pittsburgh. He was trying to go to Washington, D.C. and capture it. That's what the fucking Confederacy was. Looks like they've gotten a little closer. Why do you think those people in Tennessee voted for Miriam Adelson's candidate? It's like the ghosts didn't go away. But it was a political thing, and Lincoln, even to this day, historians, not Lincoln, nobody can like really dress down Lincoln. But even to this day, lots of people dress down Grant and that he didn't know what he was doing when he took over. Like he took over a country that was like a quarter of the country was like there was like no buildings, from Atlanta to Savannah. Anyways, that was a political thing, but this time it's financial. This time the battle will be in finance. Is who's going to pay what, who owns what. You're being lured into these. Michael Dell is going to dribble some money down in your kid's fucking IRA and all this shit. Like, you guys can see through it, right? You can see that this is like a Stanley Kubrick movie. It's just all fake and just to destroy what's left of any sort of, oh yeah, my kid's going to have a Trump account. Right? They're just going to inflate the whole fucking thing away. This time it's financial, and the finance will be restructured on blockchain and AI. I know you don't know exactly what that means. I don't know exactly what that means. I'll give you a hint, though. It's going to be things like who gets the farmland out of foreclosure. I don't know what the number is. I'm just going to go wacky and say 7% of the top tier farmland in America is probably on the edge of foreclosure. Do you think there's going to be like some big free soil movement and they're going to move like they did after the Civil War? Do you think there's going to be like a 40 acres and a mule thing? No. It's all going to go to the oligarchs. It's all planned. The whole thing is like watching Hunger Games. It's President Snow and, uh, you know, Biden has hairy legs and, Trump is going to bomb Oman. Hey, did you see? I'm sorry to jump around, but that's how we roll. Did you see? Did you see Secretary of State Rubio get off the plane in India? There was no one there. There was no one there. To a nation with 1.5 billion people. The Secretary of State of the United States of America gets off the fucking Air Force One and there's no one there. Washington has fallen, people, on purpose. This is not Trump. This is to diminish and degrade the Constitution, the power of the presidency, the dignity of the presidency, to make a mockery of America and rub it in your fucking face. So that your 22-year-old daughter that just graduated from college or high school or whatever has no idea what the fuck she's going to do. That's the plan. That always was the plan. And all the people on television are in on it. All of them. So, for those of you with a historical perspective, no, I have to go here. Sorry. Mr. Snerdley. Okay, so once in a while, I refer to like these weird Catholic people every once in a while because they do like this real deep dives on like theological, and of course the Pope on Monday released his piece Magnificat Humanitas on AI. But so this gentleman's name is Michael Hoffman. The economics of the sons of the Most High. Permit me to define my term. The sovereign power of money in America on the part of those who wield it was revealed to all to see in the successful campaign to defeat Representative Massey in Kentucky. 3 plutocrats and 2 lobbying groups were mainly responsible for sending an estimated $35 million to help a non-entity, President Trump's lackey, Ed Gallerine, win the Republican primary in the district where Democrats typically are not elected. Mr. Massey is this is really interesting. He says this. Mr. Massey is as close to a Jefferson and a Madison as one will find in 2026 House of Representatives. Yet it was capital in the hands of the despots, oligarchs, not the virtue and excellence of the challenger that decided the race. That's a pretty good paragraph. That's a pretty good paragraph. In other words, I don't know if you get the vibe there, but like Catholics don't really jump up and down about 1776 and Jefferson and Madison because it's like a separation of church and state thing, and they're not really completely comfortable with it. But what he's saying is, if conservatives really wanted these kind of founding father-like figures, it's Massey, right? But that's not what it's about. I'm the guy who's telling you it's the neo-Confederacy. I've said the same thing for 5 years. They're going to gerrymander every fucking black vote out of Washington, D.C. that they can. They are recreating the Confederacy, humiliating the White House of Eisenhower and Kennedy and FDR and Teddy Roosevelt. They're wiping that motherfucker completely clean. So you just feel completely helpless. And maybe do something radical or start to say things online that you shouldn't say, etc., etc. And our friends over here, no, that's Yale, that's related, but these people are keeping track of it all. That's why there's 5,000 data centers. Keep track of every single thing you say on here. Everything you say, even when your phone is off around the dinner table, is being recorded. So I think we're going to move to a new format between now and July 4th. It's going to be pretty much all paid. This is now not people who want to talk about conspiracy theories. This is going to transition into people who want to do things. We're not going to put up a big, like, obstacle for people getting involved. There'll be parts of it that'll be free or very inexpensive for the millions of Gen Z and underemployed people that just got laid off on the West Coast from some big dying tech company so that they can get involved. But it's all going to happen under the subscription. No different than if I started a political action committee and asked you to send us $27 like Bernie Sanders. I think they're going to run Buttigieg or whatever his name is. I mean, can you imagine Pete Buttigieg versus JD Vance? Like, I'm not even sure I really want to like start my car and drive to the voting booth to pick between those two people. Same way about Biden. If you think about it, we got in the car and we drove to the voting booth to choose between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Like, it's actually it's sort of funny, isn't it? It's almost like a Tim Dillon skit. Yeah. So so July 4th, like, let's put a pin in that and see, like, if we can get our shit together, which is gonna include from my end, like, what are we really doing? Okay, so you've heard 5 years of content about blockchain. The big theme in blockchain that just won't go away is decentralized finance. People thought that was banking. You're not gonna do banking outside the banking system. You'll go right to jail. And even in the investment world, you really have to know what you're doing because I think part of our push is going to be, because it's such a simple thing for me to explain to you, is farm foreclosures. Why don't we just go buy all the foreclosed farms? Really? Yeah. Like, it's not really that much money in the great scheme of things. And you hear it all the time. Bill Gates and the big oligarchs, sure, they own lots of stock, they own lots of gold, they own a lot of things, but they want the land. Because that's what's left of America, people. Okay? When you look at this picture, there's not much left. It's about the land. It's about the resources. They're going to buy up everything around you. They explain it to you. 15-minute cities. What's that thing they always talk about? Oh, you're going to own nothing and like it. So the story here of Bruno is why don't you just do the opposite? What do you mean? No, it's not how that works. You buy financial assets from Wall Street. Well, that's the thing you should think about between now and July 4th. I'm not so sure that July 4th isn't literally like the 250-year end of the United States. That's a real thesis that if you saw over on the other side of the mountain, there's some little evangelical church and it has the flag, has Trump's flag, 1776 to 2026 on one side of the door. On the other side of the door is the fucking Israeli flag. Like, every time I drive by that, I go, like, how does that even work? Like, how do you even put the Bible and Trump and Netanyahu and carpet bombing Gaza together? Like, I don't even. It's really something to ponder, like how we got here. Then somebody on Substack put up a picture of, forgive me, but some redneck with a flagpole with the Confederate flag and right underneath it, the Israeli flag. Well, I'm the guy that explained to you that they share something in common. It's not ethnicity, it's theology. The Zionists of Israel are the same as the Zionists in America. That's sort of my special sauce right there. I'm pretty good at that. So you have between now and July 4th, let's just get wacky and say that that's really what's going on. Like, the United States of America is being sort of wound, not the whole country, let me rephrase that. The federal government's being wound down. The Federal Reserve, as you know it, is being wound down. It's going to be replaced by a blockchain-based system. It's primarily Ripple. It's a digital currency. And they'll have a Mickey Mouse thing that we don't really want it. And Trump will do exactly what he said. He wasn't going to go to war with Iran, right? Right? Do you think Trump is going to take on the international bankers? Are you a fucking goof? I don't even know if Steve Bannon understands what he's done. Steve Bannon has basically helped elect George Soros. Do you get the joke? I don't think he's in on it. Like Fetterman, who wears a Carhartt sweatshirt. I don't think I've ever seen Steve Bannon without that goddamn green hunting coat on. Like even indoors. I don't know why there's always a hunting coat on Steve Bannon. It's weird. So July 4th, people. We're going to just sort of walk this into all paid. Tell your friends and family. We'll continue to do what we do best here, and that's offend everybody a little bit. But on the other hand, we're like inviting everybody because it's not really about like green-haired lesbians from Seattle at war with conservative people from Alabama. The founding fathers never tried to solve that problem. That's not how democracy works. People want to live a little bit different in different places, okay? The whole world doesn't have to like come to an end because some people want, I mean, take Massachusetts. It's like the highest tax state in the country, lowest divorce rate, massive venture capital, massive healthcare, um, entrepreneurship, very, very high taxes. Arkansas, very, very low taxes, very entrepreneurial economy. Walmart's based there. There's, I forget the other city that has like in one of the fastest growing for the last 20 or 30 years, one of the fastest growing cities. It's not about that. So this is the place where we like to, do the Mark Faber thing. It doesn't matter what the system is, but there has to be a system. The problem is our system is winding down. So you're going to have some big decisions to make about your investments, like namely the NASDAQ. It's quite possible that they'll explode the NASDAQ higher. Like these IPOs are going right on the index. Day one. As soon as they start trading, they're on the index. They change the rules. You know what I mean? They've really turned the IPO market into a kind of venture capital for all because Larry Fink explained that they had to find a way to get retail investors to fund enterprises that have no visibility in terms of their revenues and earnings. So they had to get a way to find you, Linda, to invest in it. They're going to do the same thing with all the private equity, venture cap, all that stuff's going to go in your 401k. It may not even be known to you. BlackRock will just jam it into some mutual funds. You won't even know it's in there. They control the whole thing, people. The oligarch, let me finish with this. I'd thought of this while I was like pouring my iced tea. Okay, so we loosely, like, I could go down and turn on MSNBC, and there's going to be somebody talking about democracy, somebody's going to be talking about capitalism, and they're going to go back and forth. What would you get if you merged those two things? You'd get oligarchy. That's what we have. Now the question is, what are we going to do about it? So have a nice weekend.